What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of The Wrong Side of the Tracks. For those of you that are, still joining me from the last episode, yes, I'm filming this right after, so we're going to continue right along. For anybody who's just finding this podcast for the first time, thank you so much. I'm super grateful. You might want to go tune in to at least the last 10 minutes of part three if you don't want to check out all the first episodes, which I highly recommend, but at least the last few minutes of part three to get you caught up to where we're gonna, take off from here. So yeah, because I'm just gonna kind of dive into it right here, guys. I left everybody on a cliffhanger of me just spontaneously joining the military, signing up for the army. So real quick before I get too far into that, guys, like we were discussing before, kind of what led me into this decision, because of how bad I was kind of getting with opiates. And it wasn't really all just that. It was like just a really big learning time. I was 20 years old, so that just coming of age, everything I was doing. Another thing, so it was super awesome at that time too, as far as like I was experimenting with psychedelics as far as mushrooms goes. Mushrooms still to this day, guys, and we'll really get into mushrooms. I love them. They're my favorite of all the psychedelics, and there's some fun ones out there. Mushrooms are hands down my thing. And the cool thing, looking back at it now, I was doing Terrence McKenna sized macro doses, back before I knew who Terrence McKenna was. So back when I was doing it, that 2008, 2009 era, not saying there wasn't information out there, but it was nothing like it is today. For those of you who know, I mean, not saying you couldn't find a McKenna or Paul Stamets, thing, or a Timothy Leary thing out there somewhere, or if you knew somebody, but pretty much all you knew about psychedelics was whatever the dude or chick that was selling them to you was telling you. They're crazy. Oh, you don't want to have bad trips, good trips. Here's a few tips and blah, blah, blah. Have fun. So everything that I learned in those early psychedelic days were, from my own figuring shit out. There was no, oh, it's childhood trauma. Oh, it's fucking this reality, fucking the quantum realm, the invisible shit, the clockwork elves. I didn't have any of that shit, which don't get me wrong. I'm as geeky as the next guy. So, like I said, fucking, when I get into something, I'm fucking 0 to 100. I go into it. I eventually came to learn and love, the Alan Watts, fucking Terrence McKenna's, fucking Leary's, Stamets, you name it. I've listened to countless hours of them as well. And I'm so grateful for all the people that put those things out there for the world to enjoy on those podcasts or those recordings. And so, grateful that those were able to be captured and now like digitally enhanced to, sorry guys, there's been like just this, it's not even like a fucking head cold, but just like this weird little sinus shit like for the last fucking week. It's fucking weird, but moving on. So yeah, a lot of my like early macro dose crazy psychedelic experiences, like really, not only did I see some super awesome shit and everything and change my fucking whole perception, like I said, that led to why I did. It wasn't all just the opiates and where I was getting. That was like going to be a good benefit as far as like physically. I knew like doing that army thing was gonna get me out of that situation. It was gonna be basically like rehab on fucking steroids. Like you can't do that shit in the army, especially not at least in fucking basic training and shit, right? So that was like my thinking. But I had also had these like super transformative psychedelic experiences that were like figuring out who I was and why everything, I don't know, the military just made sense even through the psychedelics, which is funny because you see people do psychedelics and leave the military, but like I was doing them and like all signs were just telling me. And like I said, I had no outside pressure, guys. Like I don't have a lot of family. Like my mom's dad was in the Navy. But other than that, it's not like I don't come from a military family. It wasn't some like thing that was ever like my parents would have never thought in a million years. Like I said, when I told no one, I mean I told no one. So I literally just like it came from actually I went to barter fair, spring barter fair, the Okanogan family barter fair in 2009, and I had such a just a radical experience. I did, you know, whatever the kids nowadays call the fucking the hippie flip or trippy flip or whatever, but I took some Molly, some LSD, and some mushrooms. Kids, by the way, nothing I say on here, this is all for fucking like historical reference, background, and like anecdotal like evidence, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, like for my shit and the reason behind doing what I did, but in no way, shape, or form like am I endorsing these things. Like anybody listening to this, like you can go research these things and make your own informed decision on anything discussed on any of these fucking episodes. I just want to make that clear that nothing I say on here is like, yeah, recommended as like fucking health advice or nutritional facts or whatever the fuck you want to call it. All just my story, my shit, right? So, anyways, do this LSD, Molly, mushroom combo. And I'm not even going to get into it. We'll get into it on an episode where we talk about psychedelics and experiences and shit, and I can't wait. But I just had a fucking transformative experience where I was like, holy shit, I'm going to the fucking Army. I'm going to go to the fucking recruiter and talk to that guy when we get back to town, and I'm going to see what's up, man. Like, I've never fucking looked into the military or anything. Like, I had like some war movies that I had liked right up till this point, like Full Metal Jacket, Platoon, fucking, you know, being a history buff and all that shit, like my psychedelic research and learning all this shit, like studied a lot about the Vietnam War era. And then, you know, obviously when I say it goes 0 to 100, like, gosh, excuse me, guys, figuring out like looking into like the pharmacology of LSD and psilocybin and MDMA and all of these substances, whatever you want to call it, psychedelics, and their history on them leads you into a whole fucking just slew of the occult practices, like hidden secret societies, fucking you name it, you get there through psychedelics. So when I say like I had collected a shitload of shit and along the way, fucking Vietnam, the Holocaust years, like a lot of like, and not just like what you get in school, but like the down and dirties of it. Like, I just, I don't know. I've like, in my mind, I wanted to go as like, you know, hippie and loving as I was doing. Cause it was funny. I literally came back from barter fair, like, you know, wearing some tie dye like this, which by the way, this comedy show was fucking hilarious. So funny. Anyways, yeah, came back wearing a freaking bandana and tie dye, and like literally, I didn't go see the recruiter for like a week because I was like literally fucking. It took me a while to come down. I was like 3 days of literally the only food we ate was like cannabis, fucking pumpkin roll, like edibles, like. It was a fun 3 days, but it was like it was a long three. It felt like three fucking millenniums. So, anyways, um, that next week I go, and so yeah, learning all that shit, blah blah blah. I was like, I need to go to the military, like, and like do something. Like, not only is it gonna mold me into like the young little man that I want to be, to where like I'm fully independent, because like I said, I had started enjoying that feeling of like real independence, like not letting my parents pay for shit. I didn't need a lot. I was figuring myself out. Wanting to also get away from like my friends and the shit that I was doing. Ironically, as much as like I was learning and growing with it, I knew I just needed to get the fuck away from it and get like a rehab scenario, but on steroids, which Army, all signs pointed Army. Right. So anyways, I go and fucking talk to the recruiter. He's like, so, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Like, let's take the ASVAB and see what your fucking score is and see what jobs you could, you know, qualify before we fucking, get too far into this shit. So I do the ASVAB. And I also remember taking it in high school too, like as far as like they had us take the ASVAB, they had us take like the GED test to help the state like kind of structure what questions should be on like the GED assessment and shit like that. So I remember taking the ASVAB before and it being pretty simple. So anyways, I take the ASVAB, I score super high. He's basically like, "Oh shit, you can fucking basically qualify for fucking any job that you want." And right now, like with your score, they're doing a big push on this 18 X-ray program, and it was a special forces contract. Like this, like I don't want to say fast tracked because it wasn't fast tracked by any means, but it was like normally I think before that point to get it, like to get a special forces contract, I think you just had to like go infantry, and then if you were a badass in infantry, they would see if you wanted to go airborne, then if you wanted to go 18 series, blah blah blah. So this 18 X-ray program, I don't think it was like new, but I think it was like something that wasn't like advertised a lot, and this was like kind of a push thing or whatever. So anyways, I was like, oh fuck yeah, special forces, like me being me always feeling like I was special and meant to do something big anyways, and now all the fucking psychedelics and everything lead me here, and now I get this job opportunity or whatever you want to call it, as far as like this chance to go like straight special forces. I'm like, fucking sign me up, dude. Like we're gonna do some cool ass shit. So one, not only was it a fucking wake up call to like my ass was out of shape, almost like 2 years, a year and a half at this point, fucking out of high school to and doing all the shit that I was doing, not living the healthiest life, living fucking fast food and this Chinese restaurant I worked at. And then when I worked at the skate shop, I kind of just like got food all at the fucking food court all day, and that's what I ate or I didn't eat. But anyways, I was fucking out of shape, dude. So it was a wake up call to me. Like I tried. So it was like my leave date wasn't going to be for like 6 months. It was like a 6 month gap. I don't remember why it was so far. Normally they like to ship people out a lot quicker and get them going, but for some reason I don't remember if it had to do with the 18 X-ray or if it was just something to do with it. But anyways, it was like 6 months out. So I leave, like my roommates are all fucking gonna be moving to another house, and they're all moving together as a group, and I drop this bombshell that, hey, I'm fucking going to the army, and they're all like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like I never seen this coming. You're like a fucking weed selling stoner fucking hippie. Like what the fuck are you talking about, army? I'm like, yeah dude, I don't know, it's just weird, just fucking makes sense. And they were trying to talk me out of, oh fuck, I want to get this going. Sorry guys, didn't mean to get distracted there. But anyways, yeah, they tried to talk me out of it and shit, and I knew they would, so that's why I wasn't gonna move with them over to the new house. I was gonna move back home for those 6 months so I could be around my parents, because I knew like something was telling me like, no, if you get too much into, if they get too much into your head, they'll convince you not to go, so you can't be around them. So anyways, moved back in with my parents, and I still fucking I couldn't just fucking cold turkey the opiates like everything else, right? Like I could quit smoking weed easy. I had done it a ton of times up to that point, from 4th grade until fucking, what was I now, 20, almost 21, 2009. And I ended up leaving early 2010, but yeah, so I was still only 20 when I freaking left. But I was 20, so 4th grade until there. So 10 years of smoke, like that was easy to quit. That's the whole point of that story. But I couldn't quit the fucking opiates like that. So in that 6 month, I still had like one of my buddies fucking meeting me all the time, fucking to and from Spokane, and I was going to his place and shit, still smoking fucking oxys up until the day. Like I literally smoked oxys the fucking night before I flew out to fucking Fort Benning, Georgia. Like, yeah, it was fucking dumb because I got, like I said, I got a fucking another wake up call there. So anyways, I didn't really get that into shape like before going. Like I tried running like one time with my recruiter and some of the other guys that were going, and I was fucking assed out. Like I think my when I the time frame I was in the military, the army, I think the 2 minute or the 2 mile was like 15 minutes or something is what you're supposed to do it in, and my first one was like 21 minutes or something. I was a fucking turd, dude. It was like a 10 plus mile. And anyways, so yeah, just doing my thing all the way up until the night before. I literally have like a banger with my buddy. Like I know I'm flying to Fort Benning, Georgia, and so I get freaking two sheets to the wind, fucking opiate high. Like, luckily I didn't die. Like, I should have fucking OD'd. Like, literally, it was so sketchy. Like, we almost got fucking arrested. The cops pulled us over. The cops smelled shit in the car. Like, my buddy, luckily, is a good fucking talker. He was able to fucking talk us out of it by saying it was this little bit of weed he had, but at that time weed wasn't fucking legal yet, mind you. So the cop was like, "What the fuck?" But he had these papers because weed was legal medicinally, and he was signed off as somebody's legal grower. It was the whole fucking thing. If you know, you know. So, anyways, he had the papers for that, and it just confused the fuck out of this cop. This cop didn't know what he was looking at. He's handing me weed, but he's handing me papers saying that he can have it. So the cop just is like, "What the fuck ever, go, but I'm taking this shit. You can try and get it back in court or whatever if you want, but I'm taking this shit." We were just glad that he fucking didn't check the car and find the fucking oxys and foil and all that other shit. So it was whew, so good. Like now, see, it was literally the night before I left. Like, I don't even know what that would have done to my fucking life. Like getting arrested for that shit alone, let alone the night before you go to the military for your fucking 18 X-ray contract. Like, Jesus Christ, it was a fucking shit show. I was an idiot, but had to do what I had to do to get here. So I'm fucking grateful. So, anyways, um, let's see. So yeah, one other cool thing, like with that 18 X-ray fucking contract, I don't know, you know, how many of you know, but if there's any military dudes, you might know exactly what I'm talking about here. But it was cool. You had to take a couple extra tests along with that to kind of see kind of where your kind of best placement in there. Because in the 18 series, I don't know how many MOSs there are exactly, but I know there's, you know, a handful of them, like weapons specialist, linguistics, fucking this, that, you name it. So they have you take a couple other tests to kind of see, I think, where, I think it's just for their own purpose to know kind of where you would be good at as you move on through selection. And anyway, so one of the tests was this cool like language test that like tests your ability to learn and understand and interpret like a new language. Like the test in and of itself really doesn't even speak an actual language, but what it does is just like test your ability to learn and understand a new language. So it's pretty cool. Again, guys, I apologize if there's freaking echo on there. I'm trying to not get that. So, anyways, um, where was I at? Yeah, the language test, super cool. So, anyways, night before night before flying out to Fort Benning, Georgia, is I get two sheets of the wind, fucking should have died, almost arrested, you name it. It was silly. Getting ready to fly out the next morning. It's the first time I ever see my mom. I cry like that. Freaking me always being just like I said, a poetry loving, feely fucking hippie. It was you know, making me tear up. My mama watching her boy leave. Like I could see my dad was actually, you know, proud of something. Like, not that he had never been proud before, but that's like just a feeling you always want to give your parents as a kid when they fucking do what mine did for me. You want to make them proud, you know? So, anyways, fucking fly out. And man, this is where shit, like, I don't know if it gets weird, if it's just cool for me. Like, but a lot of the shit that I like learned and did in the military is like coming back full circle now, as far as like not only so much the skills, which the skills, yes, badass to to a T. It's like insane. But the mindset. Like you have to put yourself, you have to be able to get into certain mindsets, right? So, um, I will just like get into this right here because I don't want to like mislead anybody and like make anybody think anything. So, my total contract was supposed to be like 5 years with this 18 X-ray contract, and I only ended up doing basically like half of it. But I got out with an honorable under honorable conditions, discharge, some crazy shit at the end, but I never actually seen combat time. I learned a lot of cool shit in 2.5 years. But because the way things worked out, I never like deployed, so I don't want to make anybody think like I'm some like rock hardened veteran. But in 2.5 years or 2 years, you learn a lot of fucking skills and shit like that in the path that I was going. So I didn't fully get, so let me like go here for people who know. So just the whole experience in and of itself was wild. Like getting to Fort Benning, Georgia. I don't know if they're still allowed to do this or not, but there's this thing called like fucking shark attack where they just like fucking hound your ass. They couldn't actually like fucking touch you or hit you or anything, but so that was later. I guess so even before fucking Shark Attack. So just getting there, you're getting there with as you're landing in like Atlanta and shit, you start seeing just fucking people from everywhere because recruiters across the nation just doing this shit daily, like sending motherfuckers over there. And so you're linking up as you get to Atlanta with fucking all these people from across the fucking country that are all doing the same shit as you. You know, a lot of them are just 11 Bravo contracts, but there's a few 18 X-rays. I think there was like 5 or 6 others in my company, Echo 254 mailed foot, baby. But I think there was like 5 or 6 guys total that had an 18 X-ray contract out of the fuck, I don't know what you have, maybe like 40 fucking like 80, I don't know, like 150 to 200 dudes roughly like in your fucking company. But anyways, even before getting all there, just like I said, meeting at the airport, seeing all these people, this whole experience, it's like fucking new and shocking, right? And so as you all get to fucking Fort Benning, we're getting there at like 1 o'clock in the morning. The way our planes and everything landed, mind you, I'm leaving literally almost from the fucking West Coast. Well, actually, we did. Our plane went from Spokane for some reason to Seattle to Denver. So I literally went fucking coast to coast. And the fucking bus that drives you from fucking Atlanta down to Fort Benning, yeah, we just didn't get there till like fucking after midnight. And then they do this whole shark attack thing. It was fucking just wild and crazy and a whole new fucking learning experience, dude. Um, but they were in the process when I got to Fort Benning, they were in the process of like building all these new buildings. So like transferring where like normally in processing, I think normally only takes like 3 to 5 days for people to in process. It took like my group of dudes, we were in processing for like almost 2 weeks. It was crazy. Like we literally like were just starting to do like warm ups and almost like PT type things like in processing, which I don't think is like totally fuck. Maybe it's normal now, but I don't think it was like totally normal. Like you're really just supposed to like get fucking in process, get all your shit, get your shots and vaccines and shit, and get the fuck down range. But because they were doing all these switches and building transfer overs, and it was like just this whole fucking weird time. And so in the in processing, you're in processing with like fucking, I don't know, 500 dudes, way more than the 150. They like break those 500 up into several companies downrange. So, anyways, you're like just in this whole cesspool of new fucking germs and craziness from across the country, and they're hitting you with fucking vaccines and that whole shit. It's just like a whole new learning experience, right? Well, anyways, we had this fucking. I say all that just to, get to. I don't know if everybody has as wild of experiences like as I did through their whole, as simple as my military career was, I seen some crazy shit. And it's like, I don't know if everybody sees that shit. And then plus if they fucking deploy, it's like, oh my God, like what? I want to hear about it. So anyways, in our in processing thing, dude, like one of the nights, there's this fucking kid like jumping across the wall, the lockers and shit, and yelling that he's a vampire and he's gonna try and bite people. And fucking people are trying to catch him and stop him, and he fucking runs away. So we all get woken up. So we had to do shit like literally stand at attention outside fucking for literally like 6 hours while they fucking hunt this little turd down. Finally fucking find him. Fucking this dude has like several stints where he's trying to say like, if you give me a gun, I'm gonna kill you. He was a fucking, no offense, like he had some mental issues that I thought they should have removed him from the military and got this guy some help. That's what we thought they did, because after like 2 or 3 days of this, they removed him. So we all still finish our in processing and everything. We thought they fucking, removed this guy from the military, sent him home. So, anyways, our in processing thing happens. We freaking go down range. Shit's fucking is what it is. They're, basic training. So, anyways, 18 X-ray contract. In order to do that, you have to go 11 Bravo. You have to basically be infantry, and then from infantry, you're going to go to airborne, and then from airborne, you're going to head over to fucking whatever it is, Bragg, to start selection process, which is like another 2-year process. So basically, if this 18 X-ray contract, like 2.5 out of the 3 of the first, 2.5 years or 3 years out of your 5-year contract is just like basic trainings, fucking airborne and selection process. So it's a lot of fucking just like training back to back to back to back to back. So anyway, so yeah, you start in 11 Bravo, so learn all the infantry shit, which is cool as shit. Well, then they, they're slowly pulling us 18 X-ray guys out to just give us some presentations, kind of to explain like how our next couple years is going to look compared to these guys, and like how things already were as far as like being my first time away from home like that, and already not getting phone calls and everything, and not getting any, seeing how I was going to be there, like infantry basic training. I think it was like, I don't remember if it's like 11 or 14 weeks. It's one of the longer ones. And then you don't get a break in between that and your AIT. You just literally, you get like a 24-hour break to run into Columbus, get fucked up, and then get back there. And then you do your AIT. And maybe that's like the other 3 weeks. So it's like, I don't know, 11 or 14 weeks. You're like there for just a stint. You're at fucking Fort Benning forever, just for the first 11 Bravo part. And then they're explaining like from there, you guys, everybody else is going to get to go home for a couple weeks before they go to their unit and start, doing cool shit. You guys are going to go straight to airborne, and then you're going to be there at airborne for, I forget what it was. I don't think airborne is too long. I think it's like maybe not 2 weeks, but 4 weeks, or like maybe it's 2 months. For some reason, the number 2 is in my head, and I don't know why. Maybe it's like 2 months, 4 weeks to 2 months. I don't know. I don't think it's that fucking long of the thing, but it was still like we were going straight from there to there. No fucking time in between. And I'm like, damn, I'm already like missing everybody, and not like I need them back, but I do want like a little fucking touch back into reality, like going straight from my fucking hippie lifestyle and fucking drugs and everything to this straight cold turkey. Man, when I tell you I had some of the wildest dreams and withdrawals and shit, like the in processing days, holy fuck. But it was like okay, because it was like compounded with the sicknesses from everything else, and then all the vaccines that they fucking give you. Like you get fucking vaccinated for shit that doesn't even exist anymore. So it was kind of just all tied in that. But I had some of the craziest like withdrawal lucid dreams that again just more reaffirm and assure the shit that I'm doing now. And so yeah, I just like going from that guy to this military guy, even though I was changing and loving and everything, I was like, damn, I don't know if I want to go like 2.5 more fucking years of like not seeing anybody, dude. Like that's, I don't know what that would do to me. Like, so anyways, call me a pussy, whatever you want to call it. I loved it. I didn't want to get out of the military. I just wanted to go start fucking doing the shit that we were learning. I was loving the skills. Like it was making me feel so badass as far as like, man, when I say I hated it at first, as far as like when like I said, my first 2 mile before going in was 21. Then my first 2 mile there after in processing, and they do your first assessment, was like 19 minutes or something. So I still wasn't making the 15-minute. And I would do things like, man, when we're running and shit, I'd be just talking shit in my head, fucking just fucking quit running, dude. Just quit running. What are they really gonna do? You really gonna fucking quit running? And then I'd see somebody who, in my mind, call it judgmental or whatever. See somebody who I'm like, that guy is like doing better than me. What the fuck? You're a fucking turd. Like you should be able to beat that guy, right? Like the look of him, whatever. Judging a book by its cover. In your mind, you feel cooler than him, but how come he's outrunning you, right? So I'm like, you can't fucking quit. He's not quitting. You're gonna quit. And then that's when my mindset just started changing. You know, now when I'm running, I'm like, oh, fucking look at this. Now I'm passing people like, whoa, this is cool. I've never liked running in my life. I was always a baseball player. So baseball during the same time as track, like I made fun of the track dudes. Long story short, by the time we were leaving, my 2 minute mile was fucking sub 12:30. So I was running just over a 6 minute mile and I was fucking loving it. I think I was finishing like number 4 or 5 out of my fucking company's runs, which like I said, the fucking 150, 200 dudes. So I was feeling fucking cool, dude, by the end. Like fucking 12.5 minute 2 mile. That's fucking dope. I think anyways. So anyways, a lot of cool shit. I was ready to just like, you know, my mindset, like I said at first, was just fucking, man, this is nothing like what I thought. And then I slowly started to change to where like, oh man, you're a badass. Like I bet fucking your friends back at home, no offense, are still smoking fucking oxys, being fucking stoners and shit. I loved them. I wasn't like saying I don't want to be friends with them anymore, but like I guarantee you they wouldn't know shit about throwing a fucking ruck march on in the Stairway to Heaven, fucking 12 mile fucking ruck march. Like just super cool shit, right? Making you feel like just from where I was, that turd, that mindset, and figuring yourself out to like, I'm ready to go, like actually start kicking indoors. I don't know if I want to fucking do 2.5 more years of not seeing family, this and that. I need like a family rejuvenation, and then I want to go. So, anyways, I asked them if there's any way, basically, since I'm basically already becoming 11 Bravo, if there's any way I could drop this 18 X-ray contract because I really didn't know what the fuck I was getting in for when I signed up for it. The recruiter kind of fucking glorified it and made it sound like it was going to be just this free roll into special forces. It wasn't that at all. I was still going to have to fucking work my dick off. And I do think I could have made it. And some of me now is like kind of like, but I don't regret anything because I feel like I'm right on fucking target with a lot of those skills I learned there here. So it's fucking perfect. And the only thing I didn't do, and I'm kind of glad I didn't have to do it, but I have respect and grace and gratitude for anyone who has had to do it, was I never had to take another life, and I'm grateful for that. But I understand and respect all those who have and in that position, and we'll do that topic another day. But yes, I didn't have to do that part, but I got to do all the other shit. So I'm super grateful for the way my military experience and career worked out. That being said, fucking, yeah, mindset just changed to where like I just wanted to fucking go. So, anyways, I tell them, and they're like, yeah, we really don't see any fucking problem with that. Like, you're awesome. You're fucking, all your stats are fucking good. You just go 11 Bravo, blah, blah, blah. So, they fucking tell me that everything's dropped and blah blah blah. My unit after we're graduating and everything, because everybody's starting to get this, and I got mine changed just in the nick of time. I was gonna go fucking mechanized unit, Fort Hood, Texas. And so, yeah, the way everybody's was working out was like, forget exactly what we got. Everybody's was a little bit different depending on where you were stationed, but it was all right around the same as far as like, I think we got to leave and go home for like 10 days or something like that. It was 7 days, maybe it was 7 days, and then you had to report to your fucking thing, whatever it was, a 15-day thing or whatever. Well, that's what everybody else had. Mine was, because I had changed and shit, I wasn't going to get that, but I was still going to get some time. I had like 3 days or whatever they said. I had like 3 days to report to there, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, not the family fucking rejuvenation I wanted, but I'll fucking take it. I literally flew from Fort Benning to fucking Salt Lake, met my family there on vacation, hung out with them there for fucking 2 days, 2.5 days, whatever, before fucking flying down to Fort Hood. And mind you, this shit show, like, lost my bag, so I was fucking didn't have any of my clothes or anything for, I think, like 3 or 4 days. I had to go buy all the quick necessities, toothbrush and this and that. But like all of my shit, my ACUs, my boots, fucking my big green fucking army duffel with everything in it, fucking gone for like, yeah, 3 or 5 days or some shit when I first got to Fort Hood. But anyways, they were fucking pissed off because they apparently, even though I had the thing, luckily my paper said I had that 72 hours to report there. They thought I was fucking supposed to be there like right after in their eyes. So these guys were talking shit like AWOL and this and that, and you're lucky you showed up, and fucking we were literally wondering where you were. And I'm like, what the fuck? Here's these fucking papers that say this, and they're like, well, okay, whatever, basically, like they'll never admit their mistake, but yeah, it is what it is. So anyways, at fucking Fort Hood, like my fucking unit, goddamn Bravo company, I have the fucking damn, I'll have to find my shit. It's bad. I don't remember all that shit. My unit in fucking Fort Hood. But anyways, had a fucking killer group of dudes, learned some super cool shit. Fucking I was firing fucking expert, fucking 40 out of 40 with my fucking weapon. I was just loving the shit. I had the mindset, like in my mind, because I had the 18 X-ray contract, but now I went 11 Bravo. I was like better than the regular infantry, which I wasn't by any means. Don't get me fucking wrong. But that was the mindset that I had, that like, oh, okay, like I can still do cool shit. And I did. Like my fucking squad leader, fucking Sergeant Hollow, was fucking badass, like at the time, like, and even the training shit we did, like the fucking mock-up cities and fucking Iraqi villages and the fucking, Fort Irwin, the shit you do down there in California before fucking getting ready to deploy, like just some super cool shit. Literally, like the whole experience of fucking war without, like I said, actually having to fucking take a life, and like living that fucking life out, doing 2-week field exercises, fucking eating only shit, fucking MREs, no showering, fucking all across the fucking, from Fort Benning to the fucking deserts and weather and changes and everything of fucking Fort Hood. So it was just a lot of fucking cool shit, like all the weapons, fucking Mark 19, fucking 50 cal, fucking M203 grenade launchers, like learning the tactics, the actual, like, squad tactics, and just seeing the shit that, a group of dudes with the same like-minded goals, like goal oriented and like same mission at hand, like what they could accomplish, like fucking 5-6 infantry dudes, special forces dude, marine, like that fucking mindset. Those dudes, like they could fucking walk indefinitely. Like that was like our motto, like you give us a pack with our weight on it and we'll fucking walk from here to the end of the fucking earth, dude. And like anything that gets in our way, we will just keep moving through it, advancing forward. Overcome and improvise and overcome. So it was just this fucking mindset that I had developed through there, which was like badass, which, like I said, still, like after I got out, carried with me to this day. Let me make sure. I want to make sure part 3 is it. So I'm going to kind of speed this up. So long story short, we'll get into my military career another time, guys. Long story short, the way things work out, I get a fucking under honorable conditions discharge out of the military. Super grateful because the timing of it and the way it worked after moving back to my hometown. That is right when I meet my wife in 2012. So, and it was funny because I never knew who she was before going to the military, but coming back, I meet her and it was like an instant connection. Like I said, we'll get into our whole thing later because I want to make part 3 the last of my story so we get on to cool topics. But I knew the night that I met her that I was going to marry this girl. Like that, she was my fucking soulmate. It was literally so weird. And the funny thing was is she had dated nobody up to this point. So anybody to like get with, talk to her and just like her track record that she had with guys at that point would not think like, oh, I'm going to marry this girl. Like that would not be their mindset. Like you're going to have to get to know her, put in work, this, that, whatever. But I just knew it was fucking freaking weird, man. And, come to find out, she had the same thought on her mind. She was born and raised very similar to me as far as like in the church and not like fully into it, but enough and around it and shit that we had that similarity that felt oddly strange. Like I said, even though neither one of us were super religious, it felt like a weird bonding that was going to be bigger, and it becomes bigger obviously into our story. But yeah, I'm tremendously grateful, and looking back, knowing what I know now, seeing like that's exactly why my whole military thing had to go the way it did. I learned all the skills and everything that I needed to learn for what is coming here in the nearish future, whatever you want to look here, like to navigate. Like I said, better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. I learned all the skills and everything I needed to fucking do for what's coming up, and how to help my community and all the things that to be the best that I can be for them in these times. Um, and then also like to get out like I did with honorable conditions, which nobody, I mean, maybe not nobody, but like show me somebody without the weird events that life goes, like for Ryan, where you can break your 18 X-ray 5-year contract only doing half of it and still get at least an honorable conditions fucking discharge. Like that's pretty gangster if you ask me, how I pulled that off. And then to literally as soon as I get out meet who will be my wife and mother of my 3 beautiful kids, 2 boys and a beautiful daughter. So I'm grateful for her and just our whole family. And yeah, we'll get into, sorry, I was getting real animated with my hands, and like it's I love my family. So anyways, moving forward, that like timing of that was like impeccable. And I wasn't fully where I'm at now with my beliefs and knowing and intuition and everything at that point. Obviously that's 2012, so that's fucking almost 13 years ago, 13 years ago now. um but obviously with my experiences with psychedelics and like who I'd become from this military set and everything, like I'd started to see like, damn, there's like something at fucking play here. Like how do I meet her now, the whole weirdness of it. She's fucking same religion, this and that, but I don't even come from here. I came from Nevada. Like just the whole series, it was like just super weird that now and why. And I'd already kind of started thinking it then, like there's something at large, fucking, or something larger at play here. And so, anyways, yeah, I kind of get back. So, mind you, I was clean and everything from the military, getting out, getting with her. And so, getting with her and getting out of the military, I started smoking weed again. Like, weed's always been my thing. And so, I'm smoking weed. But then, like a dummy, I start dabbling with freaking painkillers again, thinking, like, oh, that was so long ago now, I never considered myself, even what I did prior. I never considered myself an addict. I just considered a dumb kid having fun for 8 months straight, whatever you want to call it, 9 months straight. So anyways, I was just like, oh yeah, I won't be like that. I'll just freaking mess around. It'll be like a thing because I don't really like drinking, and everybody wants to always drink, and I don't want to drink. So, um, I'll just do like a painkiller here and there and smoke my weed, right? Well, obviously it doesn't go that way. I get worse into it than I had ever freaking been. We're just gonna go fast forward through those because I don't want to glorify those years, but I also want to like make it known, like I was doing fentanyl before fentanyl was cool. Back when it was like the only way you could get it was from a doctor in a patch, and every time you smoked it, you were playing with the fucking devil as far as are you gonna wake up after this one or not? So I was fucking bad. Let's put it that way. For the first, and luckily my wife um, felt the same thing that I felt, and like that we were gonna get to where we are now, and our story was gonna be bigger to help people, and I'm so grateful for that. But man, I put her through the ringer. So yeah, from the first, let's see, like I said, I didn't get clean because I had tried here and there in my few years of putting her through the fucking ringer. I had tried quitting and Suboxone and this and that and you name it. I had tried other things, but I didn't get clean, like you know, I guess maybe you consider weed not clean, but whatever. I'm clean. Fucking no hard drugs, 6 years besides marijuana and some fungi. Um, 6 years. So what is that? 2019 to 2012 to 2019. So 7 years of my addiction got so bad up and down the waves of, like I said, all that stupid shit to clean and just up and down, up and down. So grateful she stuck it out with me. Um, and that's probably as far as I'll get. If anybody has questions or comments or wants to know more about my addiction and shit, like maybe we can do more on that. And I'm totally fine and open, but I don't want to waste too much time on this episode. But yeah, you can totally ask me anything, and I'm an open book. Um, but yeah, March will be 6 years freaking clean and sober. So yeah, that 7 year chunk, you know, obviously the ages of my kids, I don't want to get too much into my kids' information, but two of the three were born in there, and luckily at young enough of an age they never like seen and comprehended this shit, but like, man, things could have went way worse. Let's just put it that way. When I some of the things I was doing, I'm talking, I've wrecked, blacking out in the middle of freaking traffic, like woke up in the morning, car fucking totaled, not knowing how I got there, like the stories just go on and on. So I mean, I was in a freaking bad place, and luckily it was like the kids, it was at a young enough age that I realized, like, oh my god. And the wife did do a good fucking scare that kind of helped me snap into it, like as far as like, hey, I am gonna fucking finally leave your ass if you don't fucking straighten up and do this. But like, even though I had this addiction, I was always still like working and providing. Let me like make that clear. I wasn't like some like piece of shit not doing it. I was working like good jobs, from like security to then I got a job like underground mining, and like I was making good money. And so like I was paying for my habit, but I was just fucking being a dickhead and just minding out, and it was not good, right? Just a super low point of my life. Some of the best money I've ever made still to this day, and the worst times of my life. Funny how that works, right? So yeah, it fucking not not good. Um, then that gets to, yeah, 2019, freaking mine closing down. I freaking am finally clean now, like due to, so I did get clean through Suboxone. Like it just finally worked one time when I was fucking ready, like I said, through the Suboxone, and then finally looking at myself in the mirror, realizing I didn't want to be on Suboxone forever, and like, holy shit, you fucking have been doing this for 20 years out of your fucking 30 years, man. Like, when are you going to stop? And yeah, it was just like, bam, I tapered myself off, and fucking, it is what it is. So I'm grateful for that. And so anybody who says like that you can't get clean with those things, they're wrong. But yes, you do have to like be focused and want to do it, because it's very easy to then get hooked on the crutch that helps you get off of it. So um yeah, so basically where we at now, 2019, mine closes down. We get the opportunity. So yeah, oh, I guess that's some cool shit that kind of like helped lead to it. So I was an underground miner for a while. Yeah, underground miner for a while, and mainly an underground driller, a freaking core driller, diamond driller, whatever you want to call it. Um, and I learned a lot of cool shit. I got to see some cool shit. I met some cool ass dudes. Like, I mean, just the hardest of hard, like fucking real fucking motherfuckers. Don't get me wrong, there are some pussies doing it too, but there's some real motherfuckers like mining, like hard rock miners, dude. They're a different breed. Like, it's a crazy schedule. You work 7 days straight, but then you get 7 days off. You're freaking a half a mile under the earth. It's fucking insane. But it's a cool experience, and I learned a lot of cool shit, and kind of like, you know, helped become this who I am. I had a lot of throughout then. So mind you guys, throughout all this fucking time, I've had like out of body experiences, and at the time I didn't call them that. I didn't call them out of body experiences or this and that. I would always just say, dude, I have these crazy fucking dreams where I'm like, I can control shit, like I'm in control of it, but I can't fully control it as far as like my movements, and it's wild. It's almost like a learning place or whatever. Didn't know anything like what I had learned about astral projection up to this point was just like little bits of, you know, Eastern like mysticism and occult shit that I had read and about the golden cord and different things, but never called them that. But looking back at it and knowing what I know now, like I was having out of body experiences like just my whole freaking life. Oh, I'm gonna put that one out, guys. Freaking smoke keeps coming right in my face. Um, so yeah, out of body experiences my whole life, and yeah, the mind there was nothing short of them. So, anyways, fast forward, the mine it closes down, and we get the opportunity to do what they call this trade act. So they're gonna like pay for us to freaking go back to, you know, school. And again, with the electrical experience that I had, I was like, I had some of my other buddies go through this lineman program, which like electrical lineman for anybody who knows. And it's like a super short program, and you can make like super good money doing it and everything. And so like I had this on my mind, like going from the mining thing, like, oh shit, yeah, I'll just do that. Won't do like a bunch of school, and I'll just get right back to work, right? Well, I do that and I graduate, you know, you graduate, get your certificate, whatever you call it, from that January of 2020. Well, if you guys remember what happens January 2020, that was COVID time. So when it was, geez Louise, time for me to go back into the job force, like look for a lineman job with this thing, um, COVID started happening. I guess like the talks of it really, all the shit didn't start happening until March. But you graduate January, and you don't have to like, you still have your trade act like unemployment thing for a couple months to like while you apply for jobs and shit. You're not just guaranteed a job out of the thing. You got to apply, do the whole 9 yards. So man, my freaking throat. Ah. So yeah, anyways, in that couple month process of getting out of there and you know applying for jobs and everything, that's when COVID happens. So it's like, okay, this is crazy and weird. It was weird for everybody at the start, and even unemployment was like, oh man, you guys don't need to find a job right now because places are like shutting down and doing this and that. And so they just like extended it out. So, anyways, I'm like extended out on freaking, you know, unemployment, which is so it's like this feeling of like, okay, well, you can't go fucking work really because it's COVID and they're not fucking hiring anyways. They're telling people to stay home. So, you mean that's the time when, you know, me and my wife just really kind of both dove into spirituality in our own way. I started really, this church that I'd been a part of my whole life, I really started just like trying to figure it out and what the fuck was up with it, and like everything else in my life that when I found interest in and go 0 to 100, I fucking did that. I went 0 to 100, got all the way up through the priesthood, you know, got temple recommends, you name it, this and that. And so when I, you know, when you start to find out my beliefs and everything now and my spirituality and like coming to that, and how did you come to that from, like, you know, being in the LDS church, it was like, yeah, you learn that there's truth everywhere, man. Like if that's one thing like my Reiki has taught me, like there's truth everywhere and there's deceit everywhere, and you just gotta pick and choose where you want to put your focus and attention, and how you want to navigate with it, and what information you want to play with, because I mean it's infinite in every path. So yeah, long story short, we just dive into our spirituality. She starts like do, you know, and finds this Sadie Jane girl and her meditation stuff, and I'm doing all this church stuff, but I'm also, because we're husband and wife, like I'm, you know, helping her decode scripture and shit like that, and she's teaching me how to meditate, and we're doing this whole fucking learning thing. And yeah, we really started to like grow. You know, fast forward like a year goes by, the COVID thing still is what it is, but I start working at the county as I have my CDL. You know, I'm driving truck, but we're still doing all this freaking exploring with ourselves and figuring things out, and our lives are kind of starting to seem like they're, you know, going in the right way. As weird as the world seems and everything, we're both really starting to have like a lot of what now I would call enlightenment, as far as like just questions and things coming up, and answers and messages through, journaling and outside things. And the wife discovered human design, and has her, human design certificate, and certified. I'm not about to be a certified, life coach with some breath work shit, some hypnotherapy shit, just a whole plethora of awesome self discovery tools and holistic disciplines or practices, whatever you want to call them. And even though mine started in the church and then freaking slowly developed out of there, because I think I just outgrew it. I don't think um, I outgrew it because it was just totally false. Like, no, don't get me wrong, I definitely question certain things here or there. That being said, there is a lot of truth in it. Like, there's a lot of truth in all, forms of Christianity, Catholicism, whatever you want to name it. Like, there's bits and pieces, truth everywhere, right? Everything, everywhere, all at once. That's how the shit works. So, um, yeah, it wasn't so much that it was wrong as much as I just felt like I was outgrowing it. I was learning so much other shit, and I've always been interested in, like, because of my writing, like, I've always been interested in like philosophers and Greek, philosophers, Eastern tradition, especially once I started getting into the psychedelics before going to the military and learning about like Hinduism and fucking reading some of those things, the Bhagavad Gita and fucking whatever. Just the surface level shit that I had on all of it was enough to bring my curiosity back around to now, to where like in this, whole COVID, everyone be at home, and I think that's what everyone should have took it as, was a self discovery thing, figuring yourself out. Like, where do you stand in this fucking crazy chaotic world? Like, hit the fucking pause button on it for a minute and figure out what is fucking important to you and what isn't important to you. Fucking where your moral compass fucking lies, man. And yeah, so I really started to outgrow it, to the point of where I even like just my own thing. Everybody could do what their own, and I don't blame anybody for doing what they want. But I will say that I had the opportunity at that time, what I considered would have been my dream job, a job up at Boundary Dam, Seattle City Light. You're set in stone, and you get just kind of a nice, free, easy ride up in this area, right? I had an opportunity to get one of those jobs, and I turned it down because I didn't want to get the jab. And anybody that did that, I'm not blaming anybody for doing what they did, but like COVID and that development, it even made, it made me just realize the shit that, even though I did all this shit in my military experience and did that, like it was something that I was like, no, I'm not like doing that the way that it was feeling, even though this dream job presented itself. Like, how everything I've come to figure out up till this point, I may not be making the best money with the fucking county, or this and that, but I'm learning a lot about myself. And to be forced back into doing something like that for a fucking paycheck, like, wasn't gonna happen. Like, it just felt so wrong to me that like still. So we'll just leave it at that. But it wasn't for me. So I turned that shit down, and I stayed at the county for a while, and I'm glad I did, because then I got the opportunity to do some cool shit that I've always wanted to do, that normally people wouldn't get unless they had a degree. But I mean, no offense, I've always like studied and learned, and I felt like I was like above average on the intelligence spectrum, as far as like the person with no degree, the shit that I could understand and do. So anyways, basically a job comes open in-house at the county for like an engineer tech position, and they wanted a degree. So originally I wasn't even going to apply for it. And then one of the shop freaking foreman was like, hey, they wanted me to let you guys know about this job. And I was like, oh yeah, none of us are qualified for that. They want like a degree and all this. And they're like, no, they wanted me to let you guys know that they're willing to train somebody in-house if they want it. So, anyways, I put in for it. I interview and I freaking get it. And it was cool. Like, it was an engineer tech job. I mean, it was kind of like masqueraded. It did have some like grunt work, just some bitch work that they didn't want to take on and handle. But there was some cool opportunities learning some AutoCAD, fucking little events that I got to go to. That's where I first got my drone license, was through that. And then, ended up doing it on my own because I have my drone license, buying my own drone and starting my own business outside of it. So there was some cool opportunities that came out of that engineer tech job. And I feel like pre-COVID, I would have never had the opportunity for that job, but something was in the air, was changing, where if people wanted it, there were opportunities out there. And so I was like, shit, that's cool. And so, anyways, I had that job for a while and it was great. Did some cool shit. And then another in house position comes up, and this one felt even more aligned because, like I said, where I was at this point was a lot of self discovery, a lot of spirituality, a lot of family. And I'm, a few years into my sobriety at this point. So, like, I'm feeling like just fucking alive and great. Like, no offense, like, I was at my lowest point there just before fucking COVID and everything. Like I said, I was all the way up to 250 pounds. I don't know if you guys can see me right now. Right now, I weigh 155 pounds. I'm 5'7", so 155. It's like the perfectly healthy weight for me. I was 250. I was a big boy, and everything was hurting. My joints, you name it, this, that. Well, in this period of like the county and everything, I just like maintained it. I didn't get any bigger. I'd kind of drop here or there. I think I might have got down to like 240, 242 or something, as the engineer tech, job, even though I was still having fun and everything, still a big boy. So, anyways, this position comes open for, it was called a recovery navigator. And it was basically like people with lived experience in like substance use, a few other things, that kind of lifestyle, with a clean slate and record and everything now, um, to kind of get in and help. It was this new program to help people who are experiencing like that, jail, domestic violence, substance abuse lifestyle, to help them find the resources and everything that they need to help get their life back on their feet. And that was like, oh shit, that's fucking exactly what I want to do. I mean, at least at the fucking time. And like, that's still kind of a lot of what I want to do and why I'm doing what I'm doing, just on my own now. But I was like, shit, okay. So I applied for it and interviewed, and they loved me, and I fucking got it. And from the moment I got that job, even though, so I only had that job for about 4 months. And in those 4 months, it was awesome. And I helped like, I don't know how many people, but there was several people, and it was fucking cool. And I guess I didn't help. I just helped them navigate their own recovery and find the resources that are available. And just a lot of people don't know it. So I don't want to take credit for anybody's recovery story, but I'm glad that I had the opportunity to be a part of some of them. So, anyways, that being said, in that 4 months, and then I ended up quitting because really, I mean, there were some things that kind of led to it, as far as like the coaching schedule and the drive and fucking things that were promised and not being done, but also just the total mindset at this point that I felt like I had finally, because so back up a little bit. I had started a few different clothing businesses and stuff throughout COVID, and kind of like developed this like business entrepreneurial mindset that I knew I was going to work on my own. If I was going to create real wealth, generational wealth for my family somehow, or even just like sustainable, like outside of other people, like I wanted to do my own fucking thing. Didn't want to rely on anybody. So I had already been kind of working towards that as I was driving truck and everything. And had some, not huge success, but some what I consider success. Like, I got one of those clothing businesses. I literally started with freaking $200 worth of product. And by the time I quit and stopped doing things, like my last run of things, I think I was doing like $6,000 orders on, runs. So like I would my, you know, after selling all that shit, I'd end up fucking, that'd be like $12,000 worth of shit, but I would just put it all right back into fucking product and this and that. But anyways, um, so nothing huge, but success in my mind, right? That I was like, I knew I was going to do something for myself at some point. So, anyways, 4 months into this and like my mindset and seeing the help and everything, and then the stuff that was promised and didn't happen, I was like, you know what? I'm fucking done. So it was March, no, April, almost May. End of April, I quit the county and I'm like, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, but between my drone license, my photography, videography, shit that would come into the future, I had plans of um, the clothing stuff that I was doing. I was like, you know, I'm going to I'm going to do this. Oh yeah, and then I'd also, so at the time of the counseling job is when I started my first Reiki attunement. So become attuned Reiki 1 and 2. That started there too. So it was like this whole huge thing. So anyways, 4 months in, I'm like, I'm done, I'm quit, and I'm doing my own thing. That was April of 2023. So we're coming up on 2 years now, and I've done some cool shit, and I'm grateful for my wife's like job that she has from home, like has helped everything, and it's, you know, awesome. But yeah, let's see what and if anything. So yeah, I get attuned, Reiki 1 and 2. So I have those for the, you know, the time you're supposed to have them. Then so basically, I don't remember exactly when I got my Reiki master attunement, but I've been attuned to Reiki, so now I'm practicing it and doing it for a little over 2 years, and uh, it has been the single-handed biggest unfolding of knowledge, wisdom, intuition, whatever you want to call it, out of anything I've ever done in my life. Psychedelic, freaking cannabis, military, family, school, internet, rabbit hole, conspiracy, you name it. Reiki has single handedly had the biggest influence on just overall why I'm doing what I'm doing now and how I carry myself and just everything. It's, you know, and yeah, guys, I'm kind of, you know, getting to where we are now. So I'm trying to kind of figure out how to wrap this up because I know we're actually past the hour mark on this last part, but this kind of gets us to where we are now, to where we can start getting into topics and shit of, you know, topics that I want to discuss: astral projection, philosophy, fucking UFOs, aliens, just shit talking psychedelics and experiences, invite guests on, you know, past friends, see what they're doing now, you know, hunting, skill set, tactical maneuvers, you know, just everything, the political landscape, news, like pop culture, you name it, what it means to be a human, where we are in this point in existence, and how everybody else is perceiving it. Because I think we are living in the greatest times ever to be alive. I think they're also, it's also the craziest times ever to be alive, like scariest, any end of the spectrum you can think of, it's now. Like we're crossing into, you know what, Terrence McKenna, whatever you want to call it, approaching the fucking the crescendo there, to where the singularity, you know what I'm saying? So things are going to get so fucking weird and crazy and fast, and like I think the more we all discuss our perspective, our perceptions, our experiences, how we see and navigate the world, the things that help us, because maybe they can help others, and not from a way of like, hey, I want to help you, but just discussing our stories and our curiosities and our likes and what we know to be true from our experiences. We can help each other figure out, because maybe other people haven't experienced those and they're just going from hearsay, but when they actually see like, oh, I know that guy and he's experienced that, maybe I want to try it, or maybe I don't, or whatever it is, right, guys? Like, you know, do an episode on Reiki so I can explain to you guys like what it is. So yeah, hopefully I didn't leave out too much. I know I did. Obviously, I would be on fucking part 400 if I like went down every memory and nook and cranny of my mind and my life story, guys. But I mean, in these future episodes, obviously, I'll talk about them and when I first started thinking about it and why and this and that and where we are with this. So it'll all make sense in the end. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my life story. I hope you guys like interact with this and ask me any questions that you may be curious to. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for sticking with me. This is going to be part 4 or yeah, dang, I forget what part it is in my life story, but it is, oh yeah, part 3 of my life story, episode 4. So for those of you who've been rocking with me for 4 episodes now, I know it doesn't seem like a lot compared to Joe Rogan and you name it, but 4.5, 5 hours of my life for you to digest, I feel like is a lot. And if you have donated that much of your time to listening to me, thank you so fucking much. Like, seriously, I cannot express how grateful I am. Like, if you have any questions, anything, hit me up. I will gladly take the time to answer each and every one of them, guys. Check out my Instagrams. You know, I am Ryan _ Rogers, shamanic.revival, and unearthed.imagery. That one's just my photography, guys, just for you to look at cool pictures if you like. There's no, no sales, no gimmicks, no nothing there. It's just cool pictures to fucking look at. Shamanic.revival has a lot of psychedelic memes and just, cool little messages that I channel and shit on there. And then the I am Ryan _ Rogers is like everything on this fucking podcast is broken down into fucking posts and reels and my life and my Reiki and yeah, you name it, guys. So yeah, thank you so much. If you enjoyed what you hear so far, guys, fucking like, share, comment, follow, whatever you can do with these. I appreciate it. And I can't wait to see you on another episode of The Wrong Side of the Tracks. We're going to start diving into some cool shit, guys. So thank you so fucking much for joining me. Have a killer night. Peace.